Excellent. That's Drew sufficiently spooked out there. Anyway,
Creepy Introductions Incorporated present.
Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome to our Christmas bumper special live show, and we've got we've got Gronks apparently.
We've got gonks everywhere.
Gronks everywhere. We've got one down there on the bottom, one down there on the right, and one up there on the top right.
A live one.
I shouldn't have telegraphed that one, really. Anyway, we've got a full show tonight. We might run over the usual hour. I'm hoping we will, actually, chaps. And we do have some news items to run through, and then we have a quiz. Woo! How exciting! Given that there's 3 guests, I don't know how we're going to do this. I think we'll just have to kind of do it as we'll just throw it out there. So, gentlemen, if I can use that term liberally, how are we all?
All right, actually. Yeah, not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Yeah. It's been I'm at the end of my first week off work, so we're into the second week. So it's all very very nice.
And don't I get to see you on Saturday? I think I have the pleasure of your company on Saturday.
You do. You get to buy me a beer and wish me a Merry Christmas.
I get to
How lucky are you?
Looking forward to it. It'll be good.
Yeah, it'd be good fun, I think. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Excellent.
Shifting through, passing through to.
Yeah, it's easy to do, isn't it? When I'm heading up to Chester, it's just it's more or less on the way. It's sort of it's the very slightest of detours, and it means I can go the route that John and I always go up to Telford.
Mm-hmm. So, well, it's you literally are just going to come off at an island and travel about 500 yards. Yeah. And then go back 500 yards onto the same road to go to Chester.
I mean, I was genuinely shocked last year at how close it was. Once you hit the road, it's less than an hour, isn't it? Really.
You literally drive past me if you go along the A41 to Chester. So that's kind of cool. Yeah.
How far of a drive is it to Nige?
Yeah, about 2:20 from my place.
That's not bad.
See, we get into this thing immediately again, Mike, where Americans and Europeans think of this in different ways,
right?
Because we always talk about a journey in terms of how many miles it is, because our roads are so different. And Americans, I noticed, always talk about a journey in terms of how long it will take them. I would always say it's 220 miles. You would say, oh, it's a 4-hour drive.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things I noticed many years ago, that we have this fundamentally different approach to distance. And you're absolutely right. 220 miles is no distance really for a drive.
But 4 hours in the UK could be about 30 miles, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Especially in London.
God. Yeah, it could be.
But then, that's splitting a journey up, because I'm off up to Durham after that. So that's another 160 miles on top of that. And then I've got to do the drive back in one. So it's sort of 360, 370 back in one hit, which is, a bit more distancy.
So you're going.
When we were over, we went from Nigel's house in Chester. We went to Edinburgh, and then ended up driving the entire way down to Plymouth.
Wow,
that was a lot of highway. Wow, look at this.
Yeah. I get the feeling everybody's taunting me with their driving prowess, given that I'm in the process of having to reapply for my license at the moment.
What's your license number, John? What's your license number?
Right. I'll just have a little rant, and then we'll get on with the news. I've got to apply for my driving license because of the old. So they send me the thing, and they say do it online. So I go online to do it. And they say, what's your driver number? And I'm like, I've no idea. Where do I find my driver number? They go, their website says, your driver number is on your driving license. I don't have my driving license because I had to surrender it to you people because of so it's like real chicken and egg. It's like, anyway. Shall we do some news?
Sorry, a driver's license, what's that? You need a driving license to drive a car.
Yeah.
You'll be telling me next you need to pass a test.
I'm afraid I was being a very good boy by following the rules and surrendering my driving license, which is what they said I've got to do. So anyway, sorry,
should we start talking about models and modelling? Otherwise, people are just going to
models.
Graham needs to get involved.
Yeah. What a novel idea. So we've got a couple of news items here. Now, this one I know he's trying to put me off there. This one I know it's got Drew and me very interested. Oh, good Lord.
Oh, yeah. Time to break out the deep mauve paint.
I get the funny feeling
dark violet
we might be doing a Dora Wings build next year. So this is their Fairy Delta 2. There's the sprues. It doesn't look massively complicated because it is not a complicated aeroplane. And there is an example. There is one at Yeovilton, isn't there, Drew?
Yeah, I've had quite a lot of this the last few weeks. Where on one of my Twitter feeds, somebody keeps saying, "What's the closest such and such? What's the closest Concorde is to you?" And I go, 4 miles. What's the closest such and such is to you? 4 miles. And you're going, the Fleet Aero Museum has got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it does.
You know, and having a Fairy Delta 2 there is really quite remarkable.
Well, there's the these are some of the decal options, which anybody who's built a Dora Wings kit will know that their decals are actually pretty good, and there are a couple of schemes in the kit. There is a silver one. There's the
I love that. That's
beautiful.
Scheme. That's such a great scheme.
Bear with me a second. Do you know what? StreamYard they're being an absolute pain dans la derrière at the moment, that they will only allow me a limited number of images online at the moment. So bear with. We'll just share the Dora Wings page. It wouldn't be our show if there wasn't some kind of technical glitch. Here we go. So Dora Wings page. So there is the absolutely beautiful box art. It's really quite stunning. Then
still seeing the photo, John.
Yeah, we just still have that 4-view.
There we go.
There we go. So let's.
That's a good price.
Yes, very. Beautiful box art. So there we go. That is such a classy package. And then we've got the silver one with the orange trim at the front, which was from the World Air Speed Record attempt in 1956. Then there's Drew's aeroplane, which is from Farnborough in 1958, apparently. The maroon one.
It's dark violet. I
like that one too.
I had the BS number for it here last night, but I can't remember it now.
Okay.
But it is a BS number.
The blue one's the one that's at Cosford, isn't it?
I do believe WG777. Let me just look that up a second.
If that's the one that's at Cosford, I've sat in that one.
There you go.
And
I do believe it is. Yes.
Yeah, it's still on display because they've moved quite a lot of their experimental aircraft, but that one's still on display at the museum.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And there we go. So there's the rather natty little decal sheet. And there's just an overview of the package of goods and sprues, and we've got another silver one there as well. But yeah, I think we should do a Dora Wings Fairy Delta month.
Well, I mean, I'm getting one anyway, so it's
well, you building one, I want to build one. I think we should all get as many people as possible to chuck their hat into the ring. So see what the comments are at the moment. Let's see if anybody else is on board with that idea.
And all the research from that was sent to Dassault for the Mirage.
Right. I was going to say that's a very Mirage looking.
Yeah, well, because it was never intended to result in a production aircraft for the UK. and Dassault was busy working on the Mirage. All of the research that they got from it, they just sent to Dassault.
So essentially, it was the UK's version of testing a Delta Wing.
Yeah, absolutely that. Yeah. So sort of like there's still kind of the legacy rumbles on, if you like, in terms of the Mirage.
I think I have photos of the one at Yoleton when I was there.
Here we go. We've got some people going to join in. Rob Monfils says I'm in. Ian Hartup says I'm already on it. Fits my sig. Derek Clark says I'm getting one. Jeff Baker says FR 103. Nick Brown says I've already pre-ordered mine. Mike Williams says yep, I'll build one of those. Yeah, I think we've got the makings of a group build here. So fabulous stuff.
You guys should really do that too. I know we're going to talk about one later on, but a group build would be fun for the IMC.
Wayne Beatty there saying I'll be the first to say it. Do they make it in 48 scale? No, they don't. But honestly, I would not be averse to that in 48 scale. It would still be a really nice size model.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. I'm having to do this slightly the other way around because of StreamYard being a bit of a nuisance tonight. So our next news item. And well, this is actually kind of Mike. This is your neck of the woods. This is, and this is Andy's Hobby Headquarters are doing a 1/16 scale M8 Greyhound armored car, which they're offering kind of like different versions of the cupola for the gun, early production and late production. I've got to say, if there was ever going to be a subject that was going to make me go, ooh, at 1/16 scale,
it's the first of these 16 scale kits that's made me go, ooh.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and it's kind of the perfect size, right? It's not huge, but it's not tiny. It's kind of, I don't know. I think this is a great idea for Andy, and I'm glad he's doing it. You know, Andy's a friend of mine, and I really appreciate all the work that he's doing to get this stuff done. And I know the investment that he's putting into it. So, I think this will be a top seller.
It's
I
just
still won't build it, but
it's just such a fabulous looking vehicle, though, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I have tried for over a year to get him to do a 2.5 ton truck.
Okay. He's not going for it though, is he?
Not yet. I think he will.
Not yet. But yeah, this just looks like it's an excellent canvas for painting and weathering.
For sure.
And yeah, I am on top of all the stuff that came out in 2023, which I still haven't got around to building. 2024 looks like it's going to add to my my list of things that I'd like to make, which I think gives you an idea of just the rude health of this hobby at the moment, that you've got this level of innovation and this number of new kits coming out all the time, that it's just impossible to keep up, isn't it?
I don't even try anymore. Do you think you're going to get roped into building one of those, Spence?
No, not really. I built the Sherman, which I did at the start of the year, and I don't know, they're just too big. I can't. 16th has kind of become that scale, hasn't it? It's like this. It's like scale du jour at the moment. Everybody's kind of hooking in 16th and 16th scale armor, and it's become like a very popular scale because it allows people to create a lot of detail and put it. You're creating museum scale models. But for me, it's almost got to the point where the larger a model is in scale, the less I like it and the less I'm enthused by it. I think it's sort of, I had a conversation with the guys last weekend about this, and it was almost that sort of, it's kind of become counterintuitive to me. I appreciate that, there's some fantastic models out there, and I've seen some incredible builds of models in 16th scale. There are, there's examples everywhere of really good stuff. And I kind of look at it. I've got a Tiger here that was supposed to be built at the end of this year, and I keep looking in the box and going, it's just massive. It's just huge, and it's. I feel like it's my personal feeling for building 16 scale is it's a time sink for something that I'm not going to massively like at the end of the project.
Right. Yeah.
And I find that the models that I like the most tend to be the smallest that I build. And so if I think it's that kind of, Harris Ali talked about this quite a lot. We had quite a long conversation. He felt that the models he loved the most were the ones that drew you into them, that you didn't look at from the other side of the room from 15 feet away. You looked at from 10 inches away, and you got closer to them because you couldn't see them any other way. It was that sort of jewel-like nature of something in your hand. We spoke last weekend, I think, when we were last on together, and we talked about the Windgeel that was in the competition at the National Championship, 72nd scale Windgeel that a guy had built. I think he'd taken it over to Scale Model Challenge as well, and he'd opened it all up. All the engine bay was opened up and everything. And it was one of those where you're sort of skimming along the models, and all of a sudden it catches your eye, and you're like, oh. And you can see the perfection of it. And it's that perfection of tiny detail that I'm sort of liking. And the older I'm getting, the more I'm liking that kind of thing. Last week, I completed that diorama in 48 scale, the V1s. And I was asked, talking about it, and I was asked the question, whether I would have, how I would have felt about that if it was in 35th. And I thought to myself, well, I wouldn't like it more if it was in 35th. To me, it's perfect as it is. In fact, if it was 72nd, I'd probably like it even more. And somebody made, and I believe it's kind of like it's meant as a compliment, but it's almost offhand to the point where it's not complimentary anymore. And that's when somebody says, oh, it looks like it could be 35th.
I know, yeah. I feel exactly the same.
I don't want it to look like it's 35th. I want it to look like it's 48th.
Yeah.
I don't.
I totally get that, Spence, because when I build something in 72nd and somebody says, oh, that's so good, it looks like it could be 48th. It's like, thanks.
Yeah, it's not the compliment I think people think it is.
No, it isn't. It absolutely
I don't think. So when I see larger scale models like this, there's definitely a place for them, and there's no two ways about that. And like I say, there are some incredible builds out there, and I'm not dismissing that. And I understand entirely why people are captivated by the size of them, because it allows you almost to replicate in sort of detail exactly how that vehicle looks, rather than sort of creating a facsimile of it. You're almost creating like a shrunk down version. The scale allows you to do that in the same way as if you built 12 scale Formula One racing cars, for instance, which I like, or 20 scale Formula One racing cars, those kind of larger scales. But there is something about the dominant size of them on my workbench where I kind of look at them and go, yeah, it's just big.
I'm the same thought process. The second a model takes over my bench, to me, it's too big.
Yeah.
And then I look at the box of parts that I still have to do. Border Models Lancaster, looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of like
the model becomes less fun for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And more of actual work.
Yeah.
And for the people that can pull it off and love the bigger scales, I applaud you. I absolutely applaud you.
I find something like a 72nd scale 4-engine bomber, like a B-17 or a Lancaster, is pretty much the upper edge of what I want to build.
It's the size of a 48 scale Tomcat.
Even a 72nd scale Vulcan just feels like it's. I just imagine sitting down and just putting a basic coat of paint on, taking multiple hours.
Yeah,
and I don't want to spend multiple hours putting a. What was that? There was a thumbs down on the screen then. Spencer's screen. I don't want to spend multiple hours just applying a base coat of paint. I built two of the Victors. I built two of the Airfix Victors, and I enjoyed them both massively. But that is absolutely as big as I ever want to go.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like, enormous models.
I think it's about capturing. I think it's the I've got to be honest as well. I'm put off by the sheer amount of time it takes to paint one of these things.
Yeah, that's what that's
sort of it's laziness born of desire to build other things, and the sort of the sheer real estate that you have in front of you that you've got to cover in paint before you ever get to detail or get to those kind of things. And they create their own challenges. There's no two ways about it. When you're painting something to mimic reality in such a large scale, and you're able to mimic reality really closely in those scales, I understand the challenge to that. But for me personally, the challenge these days, and I've been working a lot on this over the last 12, 18 months, as we've talked about, the challenge to me now is going the other way and micro painting as much as I can and seeing how close and how detailed I can get something in small scale. Alex Clark posted a collection of his models on his personal Facebook page, the stuff that he'd done this year. And Alex only works in 72nd scale, does armor. I think he's done 144 scale Messerschmitt 109 this year. But when you look at his models, you can see that micro painting in action. You can sort of see the detail and see that. To me, is where the challenge is now. It's going the other way. It's creating something else, and also there's that element of where do I put it? At the moment, there's my Sherman up there.
That's big.
Okay. On top of the shelf, there's the
Sherman. Sherman's not a big tank.
No, so it's sat up on the top there because I don't have anywhere else to put it. It's sort of sits there. I'll take it to some shows in the next sort of couple of weeks or whatever. But I'm fundamentally, it just sort of gets done, gets kind of put up there, and that's it. I don't know. It's I like I say, I admire people that are into all of that sort of stuff, and I admire the work that I've seen from those guys. It just kind of isn't for me. So as much as I appreciate what Andy's doing, and he's obviously seen a niche, and he's kind of rode into that sort of street. It's not something I see myself doing wholesale. Definitely not. I can't.
And I'll be even more of a wet blanket. The amount of money that paint costs now, just to finish something like that, is $30-$40 in paint on top of the price of the kit, and you're going to do a resin figure or a 3D printed something. So eventually, because Andy's kits prices are really, really reasonable.
Yeah, I don't think they're expensive. No, absolutely not.
No, the prices are really reasonable. I think he goes through TACOM to do their stuff or his stuff.
Yeah, I think it's TACOM are doing the tooling.
And I've been fortunate enough to see a lot of his test shots that come in just because I go to a store and we're friends. But I don't know. You walk into a store and you see one built up. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool. This is the size of my computer monitor that I'm looking at right now. But then I think about, where do I put another computer monitor in my room?
Yeah.
I don't have a space for it. Like, same with you, Spence, with the Sherman. It just runs out of space. And again, hats off to anybody that can pull it off.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. How I think it's because technology has allowed these huge kits to be built. Whereas years ago you just wouldn't see this kind of thing unless it was a bespoke resin item or whatever. So you've seen those kind of things being built, and the paint issue is interesting because when it came to painting that thing, I didn't even use the thought of using little Tamiya bottles of paint. That was done all in aerosols. I went to a model show in it's Chester and I bought 2 Tamiya aerosols of olive drab, and I just blasted the whole lot. So that whole model is painted with aerosols. And then I simply masked off and painted the wheels with a circle template and sprayed those in.
Sure.
And I think I got through like 2 bottles of Tamiya rubber black just to paint the tires on that thing. so it's where it starts to kind of add up then, and then you're adding all the other little bits and pieces that go onto it, and then before you know it, your £130 kit is suddenly, you know, creeping up. When you've got a diorama, it's creeping up to 200 quid. Yeah. You know, it stops being, you know, a cheap kind of hobby at that.
Well, not even cheap. It stops. You're on the verge of, never mind cheap or expensive, just being unaffordable.
Yeah, I guess,
you know,
so.
Absolutely,
it really is. It's you know, I think it will remain very much a niche market. I don't think 16 scale kits are ever going to become a true mass market proposition.
No.
But that's great though, isn't it? Because that means that if you are the sort of person that wants to spend 6, 8, 10 months on a build, which I don't, if you want to spend that amount of time and have something at the end of it that you can go, yeah, really pleased with this, can't wait to show it off, then that's great. You've got that centerpiece of a display. But I'm now at a point, I'm 56 in a week's time. Give or take, what date is it? No, I'm 56 in 10 days' time. I don't really want to be spending the rest of my modeling career 6, 8 months at a time building a model. I don't want to do that. I've got thousands of things. I've got an entire
time's running short. We need to get stuff done.
Do you know what I mean? That's kind of my attitude to it, you know. And that's, you know, sort of, I showed you before, but you can kind of see on the shelves behind me, that's just the collection of models that I plan to build in the next 18 months. I don't want to be in that position. So it's not, I don't see, these things would be long-term projects, I think. Although I have to say, I've now had all the bits back from, and I need to thank him. Pete Castle's now sent me my Messerschmitt 109 back with a complete raft of Airscale updates for it. That's going to be a long-term project for the next over the next year of sort of rebuilding the Airfix Messerschmitt 109. But that would be sort of sitting in
that's dipping in and out, isn't it? That's
a put it aside for a week or two and bring it back out here and there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I have to say as well, as an aside to that, as the Pete's the bits that he's made for that Messerschmitt 109, the 3D work that he did on that in about 46 seconds was absolutely extraordinary. I have no idea how he works as quickly as he did to create those parts, because he had the kit for 2 weeks and he's created almost an entire suite of update sets for it, or spinner, propeller, wheels, liners for the undercarriage bays. Just ridiculous. Seat, the seat is a work of art, you know. It's Pete Castle, isn't it? No, I don't think we need to say anything else. Peter Castle is a genius. It's as simple and straightforward as that. So,
shall we dive on with another bit of news, and then we've got a box art quiz coming up, and then we can just have a nice little chat. So, what happens when a jaguar and a gnat have a baby? That's what happens when a jaguar
I like that.
Isn't that gorgeous? This is Lataki, and they appear to be a new manufacturer from Ukraine, where so many of the great manufacturers are at the moment. And this is, well, this. Let me just get my notes up a second. Bear with. This was a joint. The J-22 Orao was a joint Romanian-Yugoslavian project. First flew on the 31st of October 1974. But yeah, it does look like the offspring of a gnat and a jaguar. Fabulous looking aeroplane though. It's why, you know, I was going to say why this hasn't made it as a mainstream subject. It kind of answers its own question there, because it is entirely niche as an actual aeroplane. But I am so all over this. I can't wait for this to come out, because it's one of those subjects that it hasn't, you know, it's not really popped up on my mind that I want to build one, but having now seen that there is a kit out there, I definitely want to build one. So so the best of luck to Lataki, who are bringing this out. This is 72nd scale, I will hasten to add. And there is a massive sheet of photo etch that they're doing for this. I'll just whiz through the photographs here. That Drew, that's
Jaguar.
I was going to say that's definitely a Jaguar undercarriage, isn't it?
It's of the same, it's of the same ilk, because the Yugoslavians were quite in bed with the French at that point as well. So I think there's some cross fertilization. Viper engines, I think it is as well, but they had two variants initially. They had a variant without afterburners and then a variant with afterburners, but I think I'm right in saying it's the Viper engine. So the British engine in there. And it's been in service for 35 years, BL 755s there. And has kind of just done its job. It's I don't think it's ever seen combat unless it got involved in the unpleasantness in the Yugoslav thing in the early 90s. But yeah, I think now it's mainly Serbia and Romania still use it. I don't even know if Romania still uses it. But I think there's some Serbian ones still in service. But yeah, a very interesting little aeroplane. Very interesting little aeroplane. I think it was kind of like, I don't think it was as capable as a Jaguar. It was, very, very much kind of hunter almost, if you like, that sort of quite simple avionics suite. But interesting, if you look at things like the cockpit interior, it's got that Russian turquoise on the cockpit interior and stuff like that, and it's got two of the 23mm twin barrel cannons, the same sort that the MiG-21 and stuff like that had. So quite heavily armed. But yeah, it's like a curious mixture of a Western design with a lot of sort of former Soviet Union detail, if you like.
Fabulous box art, though, isn't it?
That's great box art.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's lovely. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting aeroplane, and yeah, I look forward to having one.
Who said the hobby's dying? I didn't.
None of us have ever said it's dying.
None of us have ever said that. It is so buoyant as to be, like I say, it's so buoyant. It's very difficult to keep up with stuff. So,
shall I?
Yeah, let's just have him on and let's just talk to him. Yeah. I'm going to go downstairs and get myself another barley cup in a minute, so I'm just going to leave you three at it. So, we have an Airfix box art quiz that we're going to do a little bit later. But if you three want to shoot the breeze, I'm going to go downstairs and get myself another hot drink, and I'll be back in a few minutes. So I'll leave you three to behave yourselves, essentially.
You don't get this on Question Time, do you?
No.
The chair just disappears.
The host just disappears. Yeah, it's pathetic, isn't it? But it's what we deal with.
I'm disappointed. I don't know about you two. I'm very disappointed.
Well, it's what we expect now, isn't it? I mean, it's almost like it's had a knock on the head or something, isn't it? It's just,
yeah. Well, we're going to hear about that in 15
But getting back on track, because obviously that's what we're here for. I have to say that I was in agreement with you, Drew, that we do need a new family of P3 Orions.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like
it's odd thing not to have.
Yeah, it's seen so much service with so many countries in so many different variants that the idea that we've only got one 1/72 scale kit, and that is now over 45 years old.
Yeah,
it's a nice kit, but it's of its time.
Can I throw one out there too? I want a new B-47 kit.
Yeah, you know, they're all. But the point is that the Orion is much more identifiable to so many different people.
Absolutely.
You know, you only have to look around Europe to see, you know, countries. You know, Germany uses it, the Netherlands used it, Norway uses it. Portugal uses it. Spain,
Japan use it.
Sorry,
Japan had loads of them.
Yeah, Japan had them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Japan. You know what I'm saying is, you go further afield, and you got everybody from Iran. You know, Iran, and then New Zealand, Australia, South Korea, Japan. You know, it's so many countries have used it, and it's arguably has been the defining anti-submarine warfare aircraft of the Western world, of the Cold War.
It's not just as the stripped down ASW aircraft, though. I mean, there are so many special variants with
fire bombers,
with fire bombers, with countermeasures aircraft, Elite aircraft, all of those kind of things.
The U.S. Coast Guard flew some with like an Orion, a Hawkeye's radome on top as well, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah, the Coast Guard flew something like that. So it's just like there's such a massive variety, but it's a aside from anything else, it's a massively attractive aeroplane.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful aeroplane.
I've mentioned this before. It's easily in my top 10 favorite aircraft of all time. Easily. And I think we had this conversation, didn't we, about subjects that I loved that I'd never modeled. And I sort of listed them. P3 Orion, love it. Top 5 aircraft almost. Never built one. C-130 Hercules, never built one. Jaguar, arguably my favorite RAF aircraft of all time, never built one. So it's kind of strange how you have those and they sort of fall between the cracks. But they had.
I'll send you a Kitty Hawk Jaguar. You can build it.
Oh, I've got both of those, and and
can we not, Mike? Can we not bring the tone down? Thank you.
Yes, God, yeah. But it is interesting how certain aircraft like that have sort of been passed over despite their ubiquity. And it does make you wonder why that's the case. Somebody mentioned in your thread as well about the Neptune was another one. The Neptune was widely used as well. And again, the only kit we have of that is that ancient ancient Frog kit, because it's not. It wasn't even I think it was a Frog kit before.
I think it was from that glorious period when they were working together. So it was I think it was effectively a Hasegawa tooling. But it was done in sort of concert with
but that's not even 45. That's not even 40 years ago, is it? That's like a 50-year-old kit.
Yeah, but the problem with that, I mean, the problem with the Neptune is that from the first Neptune to the last P2Js that Japan used with the turbine engines, they were markedly different variant to variant. Whereas the Orion tends to be detail.
You know,
the CP Orion and CP140 and all that sort of thing. That tends to be in the detail where it differs. Whereas the RAF's Neptunes were vastly different because they were like earlier production. And then you went on to later P2V7 and stuff like that, which had the big bulbous canopy and the different tail and stuff like that. No guns, all that sort of stuff. So I think a Neptune is probably a bit more difficult to do because you've got to really think about how you would approach a family. If you're going to be, I always think of kits these days in terms of families. What are they going to do variant wise? And I'm very disappointed if they don't sort of, at least plan to accommodate them. But yeah, the Orion is well overdue. I think was it the B-47 you said, Mike?
Yeah, I just love
I mean, do you know what always stuns me about the B-47, and it's something that a lot of people don't appreciate, is that it's outside of the US or aircraft enthusiasts, it's practically unknown.
Yep.
You basically go from the B-29 to the B-52. That's that is what people think. They built nearly 2,000 Stratojets.
You also forget about the B-58.
That's another one, isn't it? That's massively overdue.
Yeah,
an
up-to-date, accurate kit of that.
And honestly, with the B-47, I would say this: there's one here at Pima that's beautifully restored. It is a much bigger airplane than a lot of people think it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is big, and it's just got that stance with you, kind of like with the B-52, with that tricycle landing gear or the tandem landing gear with the outriggers and everything. It's just so cool. And
it's a star
so
of one of the best films
many
ever made.
cool schemes.
Yeah.
And it's a star of one of the best films ever made. So
I was just Googling some images of Jimmy Stewart in Strategic Air Command
because I love Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy actually retired as a brigadier general in the U.S. Air Force.
Yeah, absolutely. And but yeah, I love that film. I love that film. It's such a great film. It's like one of those. I mean, I think Tom Cruise said it with Top Gun too. It's a love letter to aviation. And this Strategic Air Command is very much the same. It's very much that long extended take of the B-36 takeoff.
Yeah,
that's been remastered. It's just the most glorious sort of 5 minutes on YouTube if you ever want to watch it. It's just so wonderful.
Here is a little bit of trivia about Strategic Air Command is that it also co-stars Harry Morgan, Colonel Potter from MASH, who was also in the Glenn Miller story. And who played Jimmy Stewart's wife in the Glenn Miller story?
I don't know.
The same actress.
Oh, right. Okay.
I've forgotten her name. Not June Allison. Oh, for goodness sake. I think it is June Allison. Yeah, June Allison. Of course it was. Yeah. So it was part of there were like a trio of films that Jimmy Stewart and June Allison made. I think another one was the Stratton story, which is about the baseball player. It's Strategic Air Command. I remember watching that when it was on television probably about 10, 15 years ago. Just an utterly brilliant film. It's a travel log for the US Air Force, really, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I have a copy here.
Well,
I've never seen it.
Have you never seen it, Spence?
You really should.
Just a glorious film, mate. Honestly, if you like big 50s American aeroplanes, and Jimmy Stewart, and who doesn't?
Well, and after Jimmy, some pretty hokey acting, but still a great movie.
Yeah, but he's got the best voice ever.
He does.
He's got the best voice ever. But yeah, no, you really should make a point of seeing it, mate. It's just the most glorious film.
Yeah.
Skip past It's a Wonderful Life and go straight to SAC.
No. Whoa.
Did I hear what I thought I heard then?
Yeah.
Was he dissing It's a Wonderful Life?
No, I like SAC better because of my interest.
Wow. I felt a shiver run down my spine.
It was like the one American said that, and the three Brits went,
"Whoa,
what?" Go to your room and think about what you said.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. We're not angry. We're just disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Liz because she will be hugely disappointed.
I was just about to say, after this, I might go and watch It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Anyway, back to models.
Well, hang about. Here's a shocking admission from Mike Williams, who says, "I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life." God. Absolutely.
I have to say, as well, the colorized version they released a few years ago is really good.
It is good, yeah.
It is good.
I do prefer it in black
they did
and
a
white.
really, really nice job of it because it got that. Because the thing is, those films of the 50s that were done in.
Oh,
hello.
Drew just went freeze mode.
Yeah, Drew's internet has broken. It's either that or he's having a seizure. Drew, you're back, are you? You broke up. Your internet is breaking up, Drew. No, we're going to boot him out. We're going to have to boot you out and come back again. So, sorry about that. That was getting good. That. Oh, he's back again. Right.
Son of a bitch.
No, he's not back.
Oops.
He's not back. Drew, if you can hear us, I think you are going to have to reboot your machine and reapply for membership. So,
I know.
can you hear us now, Drew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened there?
You look
I
like
have
you
no-
got bombs on your head.
I have no idea. I think my router occasionally drops out for a second or two, and it's really quite frustrating when that happens.
I think that's true. I think what Dan Wood has put there is
I
true.
agree.
Drew hasn't got a gonk.
Or a
it
no
could be
for us Americans.
It could quite possibly be that.
Well, I haven't got one, but
No,
I have.
sorry, I thought that was the gong.
Look, I have a fake effect fireplace here. This is marvelous here.
Very nice.
But yeah, going back to the point that we were talking about 10 minutes ago before we went off and talked about It's a Wonderful Life, I do agree with you about the Orion. It is a huge hole, I think, in the in available kits of aircraft from that,
For
from that
sure.
period. Definitely. I mean, there aren't a lot that that probably could do with some love. But that could do. And if we're being a bit more esoteric, a bit more sort of focused on American subjects, I think we could do with the with some love being thrown towards the Viking as well. To be honest,
Absolutely.
Trumter have announced a 72nd scale one, haven't they? Which I'm very
have
happy
they?
about. Yeah, Trumter announced a 72nd scale one. But yeah, I mean, the Viking is an airplane that I absolutely adore.
I'd also say the F-8C. F-8C Crusader.
Yeah. What have the F8 and the Viking got in common?
Nothing.
Same main undercarriage.
Oh.
Is that right?
Funnily enough, I actually worked
did not know that. Oh, now you come to mention it though. I'd just not connected the dots. Yeah, yeah, of course.
So back when I was in high school, my buddy, his dad owned a company called Thunderbird Aviation. Look it up. They had 2 flyable F-8 Crusaders. I actually was down the intakes scrubbing in the paint out.
I remember the pictures of that. Yeah, I remember you sharing pictures of that.
And funnily enough, the first person to fly it, I think it was N37 TV was the N number on the airplane, was a guy named Dudley Moore. Funnily enough, who was a former Blue Angel pilot. And I was there for the first flight of the first one. And then sadly, they went out of business. They used to have T-33s, T-37s, all kinds of cool stuff. But yeah, they're gone.
Single best fast jet display I've ever seen in my life. Crusader.
The F-8?
Oh, 1988 at RAF Fairford, the French Navy Crusader. Old Pierre flew that like he stole it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I have to say that up until this year's Fairford, where the Rafale display was almost mind-bogglingly thrown around to a point where I genuinely thought that he was going to hurt himself. It was, I mean, the energy around that display was unbelievable. But prior to that was around about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago. The last time that the Crusaders came, the French Crusaders came to Fairford, they did a display then, and I agree, they were brilliant then.
All I remember was it was absolutely teeming with rain, and it was a very low cloud base, and he lit the afterburner to start the takeoff run, and he never came out of afterburner until he broke the landing.
That pretty much sounds like the Rafale display. It was
he
just
never once came out, and he kept, and it was almost entirely done within the boundary of the airfield.
And he was completely out of gas when he landed.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he will have been bingo halfway through the display. But it was just the most fabulous thing I've ever seen in my life. And the Lightning F3 came straight after it.
Wow.
And it was like,
hold my beer.
It's just like, well, no, it wasn't. It was like, yeah, it's that
just instant, just continual noise.
That Crusader's just stolen the show. There's you know, the rest of the day they might as well just packed up and gone home. It was just the most phenomenal display.
And by the way, real quick, Jim Altergott, no, not Dudley Moore, the British comedian. This Dudley Moore had been a Blue Angels pilot back in the day. I couldn't tell you what he flew. I think it might have been F4s. Could have been before that. But yeah, his name was actually Dudley Moore.
Yeah.
I've got to agree with Russell Taylor here. He says still need an Avro Lincoln and a Manchester in 70-second scale at the very least. Yep, I am all over the Avro Manchester. There are so many color schemes you can throw at it. Okay, they're all dark green, dark earth, and black, but there are some interesting marking variations you can do with a Manchester, and it just fits that kind of Lancaster family thing. So.
I think Mike W's right there as well. That end of display for the Rafale where it lands from the loop is
it was literally
the thing that gets me is that is just such a masterpiece of energy management.
Yeah.
To be able to come from an overhead loop and land and dump all that energy so quickly.
Yeah. I went with a couple of friends and we sort of looked around as that display came to it. We looked around and everybody got their mouth open. It was just like, what on earth have we just seen? But that final loop that he comes in on, and the weather wasn't great either. And we were just like, holy hell, what did that? And we just couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe what we'd seen. It was phenomenal to watch. It was so fast. I know it's a fast jet, but you know, some displays they at least have a bit in it where it slows down, the pace slows. It just didn't seem. It just didn't seem.
They do the flyby with the gear down and
oh god, this thing
doing this.
Yeah. And it actually made me think that's not actually that ugly an aircraft. I started to get I started to warm towards its subtler nuances after that display.
You tell me that the Gripen is better looking than the Rafale?
Oh god, head and shoulders are better looking.
Okay, can we shut his mic off?
Yeah, I'm getting worried about him.
It's
you're going to say the Eurofighter is better looking.
Yeah. In joking aside, it is funny though what people see. You know, we all have our favourites, and what people see in the aircraft that they love, don't they? You know, you look at something and you go, I love it because I love it. There's something there's something that you can't quite put your finger on about a machine that you love, you know.
Kind of like a Mitsubishi F2.
Yeah, the Mitsubishi F2, which is the coolest variant. See, this is right. You see, this is the thing. Somebody meant. I mean,
I knew people. Spencer's about to be all wrong.
Right. I knew all of the F-16XL fanboys had all come crawling out from under the rotten floorboards of their workrooms. I knew that would happen and everything. The thing is about this is that people did post up on there and said, "Oh well, I like the Supra. I like the Block 52s with all the spine and the conformal tanks and everything and all that sort of stuff." No. It's not the way an aircraft is supposed to be designed. You don't scab crap all over it and hope that it's going to look good.
My major observation when people were showing pictures of the Supra and saying this is the best looking is that these are probably the same people who call the F-35 Fat Amy.
Exactly. What you've done, if
my butt look big. Yeah,
you see that the thing about the Supra and sort of later, you know, like the Polish ones, for instance, which are a similar kind of aeroplane. So what you've done is you've taken a beautiful sports car that was perfectly designed on a drawing board to look the way that it did. And what you've done is you've taken that beautiful sports car, you've put a horrible fin on the back of it, you've flared all of the wheel arches, you've put some aftermarket wheels on it that don't suit the car, and you've painted it in some horrible flamed paint finish that makes everybody want to vomit. It's not the original design. Don't kill the design,
Spencer. But what I hear you talking about is the Super Hornet versus the Legacy Hornet with F-16s. And bad news, the Legacy Hornet is still a much cooler airplane than the Super.
I couldn't agree more.
And the Charlie,
that's not even an argument that's worth
Charlie
having.
model F-16 is still, without all the crap all over it, without all the conformal tanks in the spine, the standard F-16C, it can be NSI intake or big intake, is still better looking than the F2 because
it's
fat.
not. No, actually, I have to agree. I do think that although it's not the F-16C for me, it's the earlier F-16As that I like.
The
The
Block
European
15,
ones.
25s.
You know,
I
those early
like
blocks.
the Block 5s with the black nose.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
and then when they converted MLU, I agree.
Yeah,
The
somebody posted up on there that they thought actually they said that they really liked the charcoal lizard F-16As.
Oh yeah.
Because that was kind of cool. But
Anything
I mean,
in
they're little hot
European
dogs,
one,
aren't they?
anything in European one is the best scheme that aircraft ever wore.
But that said, Spencer, I respect your opinion, and if you like the F2 better, it's actually not an F-16.
I didn't say it was. I said F-16
You said it was the best variant.
It's not. That's. Although, anyway, going back to my point about the Rafale and people liking things and all that kind of
fight.
The Rafale, I can't find anything to hook into that I like. There isn't a part of the airplane that I think is attractive.
Really?
Because most things I kind of look at and I think, yeah, that looks good. I like the stance. I like the way it sits on the floor. I like the way the weapons work. I like and everything. But with the Rafale, I just look at it and go, no.
I look at the Eurofighter exactly the same.
Yes.
A big giant square intake, and it's just, to me, it's an unattractive airplane, but I also think it's a cool airplane. It's one of those airplanes that looks better in the air than on the ground. F-22 Raptor, for example.
It's like for me, I think the Typhoon looks great in profile and poor in plan. Whereas I think the F-22 looks poor in profile and great in plan. That is just glorious, Spence. That is beautiful. Just absolute perfection.
It looks like that nose has been dropped onto the fuselage, it's a blancmange of an airplane.
The thing I don't like about the Rafale is the side opening canopy. Just like I hate the forward opening canopy on the F-35.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I have to say.
But I know why the F-35 has it, and a lot of people don't. The reason the F-35 has a forward opening canopy is because that ridiculous, stupid B model with that giant Hoover fan behind the canopy. They had no room to have a rear opening canopy for the mechanism.
That giant Dyson that it's got behind the.
It made sense to just cut the cost by having everyone made with a forward opening canopy.
Absolutely.
Well, exactly right. Yeah. But it does look ugly like that, and that's going back to the F2. One of the things I really like about the F2 is that clamshell canopy that it's got.
I agree. I'll give you that.
That looks really cool. So yeah, but I was poking the bear slightly with that, as I do with these. These
surely not.
I just want to put that out there, but I can't. I'm sorry. I'm starting to worry now because Drew's coming around on Saturday. This conversation could happen face to face, and it might not end well.
But you and I have one thing in common, Spencer. The F-15 Eagle was the most beautiful airplane ever built,
without doubt.
The C model, not the fat sister. Again, I'm not.
What is it that you've got to get? It's basically an F-15C that's the same with a different canopy.
Certain airplanes look good as a two-seater. To me, the F-15 does not look good as a two-seater.
Oh, you telling me
the F-18 Hornet, however, does look good as a two-seater?
Oh, come on! I have to say that the new F-15X or whatever it's called now.
Did you see that? Did you see the Qatari one? Display.
Yeah. And I'm not taking away its capability. I'm not taking away that at all. It's just I don't like Fat Linda.
I have to say, but no, I'm with you, Mike. The F-15, from whatever angle you look at it, is just the most beautiful airplane ever to fly.
And to be perfectly frank, it looks better with just a centerline tank and no wing tanks.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah.
Mainly because that's the way I was around them.
It's an absolute glorious airplane.
It's spectacular. And all being well, we'll get a kit come out of that. Although I don't think that's a massively difficult conversion, to be honest.
No.
From maybe the cockpit.
The problem is we don't have a good F-15 Strike Eagle other than the old Revell kit to use.
That's good little kit. That's good kit though.
The Great Wall kit is a disaster in shape, in build, everything. Funnily enough, I produce a lot of stuff for that kit, and I even put mine back. I couldn't deal with the mess
It seems like we've gone through a psychodrama, Mike Reeves' personal psychodrama, whilst he's been building this F-15 to the point where it's just like, go, no, that's it, I'm done, I've had enough. please, somebody take.
I'm all done. Into the bin.
Yeah.
Let's
it's not happening. I'd rather build Monogram's kit than Great Wall Hobby's kit. It's just all. What put me off that Great Wall? What put me off that Great Wall Hobby kit was the drop tanks. Nobody ever seems to mention these drop tanks, and I mentioned it to somebody at National Championships. They're elliptical.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're not like tubular in the middle with ellipses at either
getting
end.
the profile of that 600-gallon tank wrong is extremely common.
Yeah,
you know, I have them, right?
Yeah.
Thanks to Rich Van Zandt.
Yeah, but the problem is, what was
like,
there, Mike, is that once you realise that's wrong in the kit, you immediately go, what else is wrong?
The horizontal tail's in the wrong position. The panel lines are almost all wrong. The fuselage, even though they fixed it, is still too deep, making the seats way bigger than they need to be, and makes the cockpit sit down way too low. The whole forward nose is shaped wrong. The kit is just, sure, does it look like an F-15 when it's built? Absolutely. But for a purist who has spent a lot of time in and around those airplanes, I have a special passion for it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested actually, Mike, obviously, because it's going to be a forthcoming project. But having built Hasegawa's F-15C, which is I still think is a beautiful shape. I mean, they captured it almost perfectly. It's not the easiest model to build in the world, but
no, it's old Hasegawa back from that era, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I certainly love the one that I did. It'd be interesting to see how the Monogram one. I know how it's going to go together because it's a Monogram kit from 1980. But how it looks when it's finished, how the stance of it, you know, how it's sort of feel the way that it goes together. I think that'll be an interesting kind of project.
And that would be an easy rescrap job if you decide to do it.
No, I'm going old school. I'm going to do what I did with
the other classics.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with it. Definitely, yeah.
Dave wants to talk about Mirages.
But this is what we're going old school.
Yeah.
Okay, what's Mr. Fleming says? Mr. Fleming says, can we talk Mirages, not whether it's the best looking 60s, 70s jet, brackets, it is, but which variant?
Well, the F1. Anyway, next subject.
Yeah, clearly the Mirage 3. So
no, I'm going to go the 2000D.
I'll go 2000N, but that wasn't 70s.
Though, is it?
Oh, so 70s. Oh, sorry. Oh, in that case, the F1 with.
Yeah, I'm in agreement on the 70s with the F1.
Yeah.
And we have a few here at Luke Air Force Base, flying with, I don't know if it's Draken or
I think it's Draken, isn't it? I think
it might be. I don't know. It could be ATAC. I've got a bunch of pictures I posted. And they just lost one about a year ago, which luckily the pilot got out. But yeah, they're neat to watch take off and land because it's something you don't just see, right?
Well, it's kind of ironic that if you want to see a Mirage F1 flying now, you're probably better off going to the United States because not only have they got a lot of them, they're using.
The other funny thing is, 3 miles from my house is Deer Valley Airport, and Top Aces just had one of their A4Ns parked out there.
Well, they've been over in the UK, haven't they?
They've been at Fairford recently. They've been operating from Fairford. Do you know what? The A4 is still one of those aeroplanes I have never, ever seen one flying.
That's the airplane that made me fall in love with
airplanes. I've never seen an A4 in flight.
No,
really?
I don't think
never seen an A7 in flight either.
I've never seen an A7. I've never seen an SR-71.
Seen an SR-71.
But the A4 is what made me fall in love with airplanes, because at that same airport that I was just telling you about by our house, the Blue Angels used to fly out of that when I was a kid. And my dad used to put a ladder on our house. So after school, I could go up on the ladder and watch them practice for the week they were there.
One hill that I will die on is that the A4 is the best aeroplane the Blue Angels ever flew.
Absolutely.
It's just everything about that aeroplane as an aerobatic mount is just perfect.
It is.
Absolutely perfect.
Yep.
Do we need to get on to our quiz?
Well, I was just thinking that.
Let's do it.
But then I suddenly thought I need to correct Drew on something because the best aeroplane that the Blue Angels ever flew was clearly the F-11 Tiger. So
no, I do love the F-11 Tiger, but the Skyhawk was just the absolute perfect mount for them.
720 degrees per second roll rate.
Only matched by the Nat.
And the T-38.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what else? Here's one. Do you know what else had a 720 degree per second roll rate?
Go on.
This often shocks people. The Cutlass.
Oh, the Cutlass, yeah.
Cutlass. If you look at the size of those ailerons on the Cutlass, yeah, about 700.
Then you look at it and go, it's a Cutlass.
Was that intentional, or was it just out of control?
It was just a great aeroplane. Apart from the engines, it wasn't a bad aeroplane. That's just the thing. It was the engines, as with so many 50s projects, it was the engines that let the entire thing down.
Mm-hmm.
And also being British, I don't think, given that we flew the Javelin, that we can be throwing rocks around in glass houses, can we?
Yeah.
Well, there is that. I mean,
I loved it.
I mean, the Javelin, the pilot could run around inside the wings. I think it's just.
I have very fond memories.
Gloucester, we used to make Typhoons, didn't we? So what are we going to do with this Javelin? Well, let's make the wing as thick as we possibly can.
I have fond memories of a decade back of myself and Drew driving up to the excellent Gloucester Airport to photograph their Javelin up there, because I was working on the Airfix one at the time, and one of us, who's to remain Drewless, forgot to put the settings on his camera properly.
We got to set the white balance.
Yeah, and it all came out blue.
Completely unusable set of photos.
Yeah,
Hundreds of them.
They were adjustable.
Yeah, I mean, Gloucester had heard of the sound barrier, but wanted no truck with it.
Yes. Spence, you must have been to Gloucester Airport, haven't you?
Me?
No? Yeah,
I have. Yeah.
Your name is Spencer. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, I have. Do you mean the Jet Age Museum?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, I've been there. Yeah, it's good.
Staverton, isn't it?
That's where the project for the Harrier T2 began, because they had got a nose section that I photographed, and that was it. I went there specifically with Elizabeth, and we sort of went and had a mooch around there. We were in the Cotswolds, actually. We went to the Cotswolds, and we stopped there on the way. So we had a weekend in the Cotswolds, and because it's this side of where we needed to be, so we sort of toddled in there. It's a good little collection, actually. It's got some good little stuff there.
Another 24 scale Harrier.
I wonder what the Javelin's turn rate was. Let's just say, Dave, it would never have avoided the iceberg either.
No.
Very good. Very good. No. Shall we do the Christmas quiz here?
By the way, I'm at a disadvantage because I don't have as much Airfix knowledge as you guys, but I'll play.
Well, Spencer always wins anyway. So,
by the way, Spencer, you do have another 24 scale Harrier to build.
I do indead. Yes,
I know a guy that sent you one.
Which is at the moment.
Shall we just make this quiz then as Spence versus Drew? And let me just get a coin out so that we can flip a coin to see who goes first.
I want to play.
Let Mike play. He's fine. We'll play.
Play, Mike.
They're gonna beat me, but I'll play.
let me just see. I'll flip a coin to see who goes first.
I'll go third.
I'm just going to go to the comments section for a second.
I agree with Mike Williams. The Javelin does need a reissue.
It was only recently reissued, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't long ago, was it? It was the last couple
only
of
year
years.
or so ago that it came out, I think.
Right, okay. Sorry, I've just suddenly realised that if we're doing the quiz and everybody can read the comments, then somebody's going to cheat. So anyway, right, Spence and Drew, heads or tails?
Heads.
Tails.
Tails. Tails it is.
Okay.
Right.
You win anyway, Spence.
I don't think I did last time, did I?
No.
No, you won last time. Yeah.
I did.
I've never beaten you in this quiz. It's normally
Okay.
within a couple of points, but
Well, now you have a surprise entry, and I have Google.
Well, I've just got to try and see if I can turn comments off actually, because it's well, we'll just
right, guys, we're asking for your indulgence here. Please do not post any answers in the comments. Please don't.
I'm just seeing if I can switch comments off. Actually, I should be able to, but hey ho. Right.
If Drew goes, we go into private chat, it disables the comments for us.
That's
there you go.
fine.
I'm happy to do it. I've done that. So
you can't see it then.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So you'll have to take us at our word that we've done that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I would also ask that people don't post answers in the comments anyway.
I trust you two as far as I could carry you. So there we go. Right. So Spence, you are off. You are number one in the Airfix box art challenge. So can you name that box art?
Oh God. What the hell's that thing called? God.
I'm going to run you down on a clock here, because if you can't do it, I'll hand it over to Drew.
Is it the little Blom and Voss?
I'll let you have that one.
Yeah.
It's the Blom and Voss BV141.
I couldn't remember
exactly what I was going to say.
I couldn't remember the numbers.
No, that's fine. So I'm just having a mince pie here because I'm starving. So, right, Drew.
Oh, that's a A20 Boston.
I had more than a feeling that you would get that one.
Yeah.
Glorious.
Oh, that's a nice painting, actually.
It is a nice
Very
painting. Yeah,
beautiful piece of box art by Uncle Roy. So, right, Spence. Oh, hang on.
Isn't it Mike next?
No, I don't need to find it. I'll private chat. I'll
Mike.
private chat so I don't ruin your guys' game.
Okay. Right, Spence, you're next.
That's the Beagle Basset.
Please, really.
Okay. Fair enough. Right, Drew. I should be keeping score here, but I can't be bothered.
MiG-15.
Absolutely perfect.
That's
right.
2-all so far.
2-all, yeah. It's not a question of sport, this, isn't it?
I think that might be the Mosquito.
Yep.
I'm going to hand over to Drew.
Oh, is it a Hamden?
Nope. So that stays at 2-all.
Oh, hello.
One of the most.
Are you as annoyed as I am, Spence?
I really am annoyed.
Yeah, it should be one of the most iconic pieces of Airfix box art ever, and neither of you could identify it.
That is really, really annoying.
I'm ashamed.
Yeah,
you should be. Right, Drew. Drew.
Oh, the diner.
Very good. Right, Spence. I just got. You what? Sorry, Mike.
I said it's getting fun between these two.
Yeah, it's getting competitive. Right, Spence.
Henschel 126.
Drew, I'm handing it over to you.
Is it a Marauder?
What did you say?
Marauder.
Oh, of course it is.
It's 4-2 to me. Yes.
4-2 for you. Drew, your turn.
Walrus.
Is that your final answer?
See, now you're making me say, yes, it is my final answer.
Spence, I'm handing it over to you.
Is it the Albatross?
They never did an Albatross.
Oh, what's that?
Hang on. Oh, I was just going to say that.
What? Oh, God.
Oh,
I had that kid.
Positively shocking. Right. Next one. Who is it now? It's Drew. It's you, Drew, isn't it?
no, it's Spence.
It's me.
Spence. Yeah, Spence. Sorry. We're at 4-2 at the moment. 4-2 to Drew. Spence.
Oh God, I just keep getting bombs.
Well, you flipped first.
Oh God, I've got absolutely no idea. I've got absolutely no idea.
Right, Drew.
Mustang.
God.
Do you know what gave
Surely.
that away? Do you know what gave that away to me? Was the corner of that pylon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Surely that has to be. I think that is one of Roy Cross's greatest paintings.
I'm actually shocked and embarrassed.
Do you know what's annoying about that? Is that's my favourite box art ever.
Oh, really?
I'm
honestly, I'm quite shocked, Spence. I thought you were going to get that without any.
And we discussed it last weekend.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right, Drew.
I want to say that's the Sturmovik. Sturmovik.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Very good.
Wow.
Right. The score
I've never got that.
Score at the moment is 6-2 to Drew. So.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's the Invader.
Very good. 6-3. Spence is clawing his way back up the scoreboard here. So let's see how Drew gets on with this one.
Oh, that's the little Fiat, isn't it? The G50 or something? The little Fiat, yeah.
Yeah. Drew shoots, he scores. Spencer.
Are you kidding?
I feel like this is rigged.
God knows. What could that be? Oh, I've got no idea. Bristol Bulldog.
Is that your final answer?
Well, I've no idea. I can't remember if I've ever seen that before.
Yeah.
Very
That's
good.
great.
Right, Drew.
Yeah, this isn't rigged, Mike. Oh Lord. Starfighter.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Right. Spence.
I'm happy with that. I'm happy I got that one.
Oh, that's got to be the Messerschmitt 110.
Excellent.
Nice.
Right. Drew.
MiG-21.
Ta-da. Excellent. Well done. Mr. Pollard.
You still keeping score, by the way?
I am still. It's 9-5 at the moment.
What the hell's that? God.
I'm going to have to hand it over to Drew if you can't come up with an answer.
I can't remember what this. I can't remember what it's called. It's gone.
Drew.
Henschel 129.
$10-5.
Goodness me.
I knew what that was, and I just couldn't bring the airplane to my mind.
Yeah, there's always a thing where you get mixed up between that, the 123, the 126, and the 129. But Actually, let me just double check that is the Henschel 129. I'm sure it is.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's next? Drew, isn't it? Drew.
Oh Lord. Arado AR196.
Oh,
Wow.
11.5. Right, Spencer. Spence with the bombs again.
Jeez, that's Henschel 126.
Oh no,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. No, it's a 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
That's the one. I'll let him have that one. I'll let him have that one. You're so far ahead, Drew. It's embarrassing. So right, Drew.
Oh God.
Close.
No,
wow, what is that?
I'm going to utterly strike out. And no idea. Absolutely zero idea.
Spencer.
Oh God.
You too.
I think I'm going to as well. I'm assuming that's an American wing of some sort.
The starting bar kind of gives it away.
Yeah, but
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Robin Williams.
I knew that was a reason we had Mike on tonight.
But I was
No.
thinking, maybe a F-86, but the Ethics didn't do
No.
an F-86 in that. Like that.
No. I'm gonna have to put you both
Can I?
out your misery.
Oh wow!
Now,
Oh.
That's a
you're
deep hole.
tempted to say Jetstream, but that's actually the C-10, wasn't it? It was the variant that never happened.
Yeah, the variant the US Air Force never bought.
Mm. Also, the first aeroplane you see in the very first episode of Jerry Anderson's UFO is that Ed Straker turns up at an airfield on a jet stream, but it's made up in American markings, so it's supposed to be like a C-10. But there we go. Spencer.
Frustrating.
Oh, Jesus. What can that be? I'm going to go. I'm going to say that is the Bristol fighter.
Drew.
Is it the RE8?
Oh, you're so close, the pair of you.
Oh,
The H4.
oh.
Right, Drew.
I mean, that's a Wildcat, isn't it? Wildcat.
Your final answer. I'm good at this, aren't I? I'm good at this kind of like quiz thing. Anyway, right, Spence.
I'm going to go for the. Did they do a? I don't think it's a wild. Did they do a Dauntless?
They did do a Dauntless,
Mm.
but that isn't it.
But that isn't it. So I had a Grumman tail.
Yeah, you were close, but no cigar. Spence.
That's the Hellcat.
That's a nice piece of art as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very nice piece of art. Right, Drew.
Good Lord. Oh no! I do you know what? No,
No. I'm handing it over to you, Spence.
Jeez.
You should be good at this. You're good with bombs.
I've had nothing but bombs. God, what could that be? Corsair.
No.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Ah,
Right. Spence, you are clawing your way back up the scoreboard at the moment because it's now 11-8 to Drew. So, excuse me, a couple of wins here, and you can actually top this out. So, Spence.
Oh, for God's sake. What is that? I've got no idea. It's World War One.
I'm going to hand that over to you, Drew.
I've got no idea.
Avro 504.
Oh, back of the net.
Asking me about World War One is like asking me about, I don't
Interestingly,
know,
not World War
second baseman for the Yankees.
Post World War One.
Yeah, it's interwar. That was.
Yeah, it's got two wings.
What a nice piece of box art, though.
It's a very nice piece of box art.
What a lovely painting that is.
That it was. Roy Cross did two very nice pieces of box art. He did the one with it flying over the Egyptian pyramids as well.
Yes, he did. Yes,
beautiful.
I don't think I've ever seen that box art.
Right, hang about. We're going off piste here. Actually, it might not have been Roy Cross. That might have been because it was later in the. It might have been Mac Kenna actually. Here we go. Open image in new tab. There we go. Present, share screen. I wish they'd make it a bit easier to do this, but yeah, fabulous piece of box art. That. Yeah, that's Mac Kenna. That's not Roy Cross. That's Mac. But isn't that glorious? Oh no, hang about. Let's try it again. There we go.
I've seen that one. I don't think I've ever seen the other one.
Right. Okay. Well, there you go. Flying over the pyramids. So right. Let's get rid of that one. The next one, Drew. This is gonna be so difficult for you.
I won't say that's the Mitchell.
Final answer.
So I'm going to say that's the Mitchell.
It can't really be anything else, can it?
And do you know what? I think in all the quizzes we've had, that's the second time I've had a section of the Mitchell.
Yeah, well, I was being a bit lazy tonight, so I can't remember.
And it's the second time I went, yeah, that's a Mitchell.
Right, Spence.
That's got to be the Val.
Final answer.
Nice. Yeah.
And finally, Drew.
Let me think. Oh dear.
Wow.
I'm trying to think, but there's nothing really coming immediately to mind. Hamden.
I'm gonna have to hand it over to Spence.
No, it's not Hamden.
I was going to say the Hamden as well. So that's sort of throwing a spanner in the works very slightly there. Not the Hamden.
No.
No.
You're both going to kick yourselves when I show you what it is.
No! Flinging Spitfires.
Yeah.
That was ferociously difficult.
That is my modus operandi. That is the winner. The winner. Well, his name isn't Spencer. Let's put it that way. The winner by 13 points to 9 was Drew. So well done, Drew.
And the crowd goes mild.
Yes.
Next time you can have all the bomb pictures and the World War Ones.
Next time, let's do Monogram if you're going to have me on.
Yeah, well, we will do, Mike. But you did call Spence. I did it heads or tails. You did call tails. You got tails. You got what you wanted, mate.
And you did give him a freebie for getting the Henschel number wrong.
And the thing was, I honestly should never appear online again after getting that P-51 box art wrong.
Yeah, well, I think you both not recognising the
Shameful.
iconic 24th scale Spitfire is shocking, positively shocking. Right, gentlemen, I haven't got my ding with me, so any other business?
No, I don't think so.
Hello.
I don't think we're probably not going to speak again until I guess. Well, I'm certainly not coming on here until after the new year. I don't think so. I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank everybody that's paid attention to us middle-aged old crows for the last however many years it is.
Yet another year.
Yet another year, yeah. And certainly from a personal point of view, to thank everybody that's supported me, and especially Mr. Reeves, whose generosity has been absolutely unparalleled this year. He's sent me that much stuff. So I owe him a great deal of gratitude for the monogram kits that have been sent over. Pints, absolutely.
Although I am starting to get the impression now that Mike is merely throwing the gauntlet every time.
Yeah, it's sort of
with a new monogram kit. He's going, oh well, that turned out nice. How about that one?
It's he's essentially become my pusher. It's that kind of thing. Yeah, so
but it's good to see them done. That's the main thing. I mean, the reason I send them to you is I know that you're going to build them.
Yeah,
and you know, you put up. I don't know how many I've sent to you have gone into your books and your any publications, magazines. Yeah. So for me, it's a great joy to pass on stuff that I've had forever, that I would probably never touch, to somebody who has done justice to them and continues to you know, be such a good plaudit of the old monogram.
So thanks to Mike, because he has been absolutely unbelievable. But it just serves for me to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a fantastic New Year, whatever it brings.
We've got to finalise.
Not helping, Mr. Krapovich. Not helping.
No. We've got to finalise a date for this. So I think this will be over the Christmas holiday. So
it will, yeah.
So yeah, we will. Sorry, Mike.
I'm in.
Excellent. Yeah. Right, jolly good.
I think there's quite a lot of people who are taking part in this, actually.
Yeah, well, that's why we need to finalise the date. And if you want to take part and you haven't got a kit, head over to Jadlam. Use the coupon code which we've put up on the Facebook page, but I will pin it again this evening, and you can get the kit for £15, including postage. So I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, why don't we say that the sort of, we don't have a start date, because I think that's going to be almost impossible for everybody to do. But why don't we say we'll do it over the holidays, and we do our reveal on Sunday, the 7th of January.
Perfect. Yeah.
Because there's no point saying, well, we'll start it, you know, on this date, because I might be at friends, we might be out, we might be doing stuff. Yeah. So if we say any time between now and the 7th of January, we'll do the reveal on the 7th of January.
Yeah. Ping me on Messenger to remind me of that, because I've got a head like a sieve. But yeah, well, we will. Yeah. That's what we'll do. So yeah, absolutely. I'm really looking forward to that. It's not the greatest kit on the planet, but it's got potential. So
it's going to be good fun, I think. I think so. We all sort of approach it in different ways. It's going to be good fun, I think. Yeah.
Drew, any other business?
No. I will see you, Spence, for lunch on Saturday.
You will. You'll see me for lunch.
And again, thanks to everybody for tuning in over the course of the year. And you know, good Christmas and Happy New Year to all. And we'll see you I think we're actually off air till the new year now, aren't we?
Pretty much. I might do a couple of pop-up lives.
Unless John does a pop-up, because I'm going to be from Saturday through to the 2nd of January. I will be incommunicado because I'll be traveling and visiting people and
yeah. I'm done until that Sunday the 7th will probably be the first chance I get.
Yeah, I shall probably do some pop-up lives. So you know, we'll have to wait and see. Michael, any other business from you?
I'll make it as quick as I can. Number one, thank you three for allowing me into your inner circle and just being a bud for so many years.
Just you nagged us for so long, we gave in.
Yeah.
It's not 3, it's 4.
No, I truly appreciate it. I honestly do. And for all, I mean, it's been a while since I've been on, so it's really great to be able to catch up with you guys live.
Yeah, Mike, you should make yourself known more often, mate. You're always welcome. You're always welcome here, mate.
Yeah.
Always.
I try. But I also want to thank everybody out there that has tuned in and watched these fun little silly things that you guys do. They really do bring people in a cool way right into the hobby and kind of have that expressed opinion. Nice. And lastly, I want to thank, because I know there's several guys, Drew, Richard, Pavel, Craig Sargent, guys that helped me with some of my stuff for Phase Hanger Resin. I don't take it lightly, and I certainly appreciate all the help I can get. I am making a point this coming year, after the first of the year, there's going to be one day a week that I spend completely doing 3D drawing myself. No, it's 3D drawing. So I can start punching out the products that some of the stuff I want to do myself. But and everybody who supported Phase Hanger Resin, thank you. I wouldn't be here without you. And certainly Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to all of you. And those who have just celebrated Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. And have great holidays.
Just very quickly as well, I need to sort of make a public thank you to Craig Sargent as well, because he sent me some parts to do the prototype F-15, which were really beautiful. So to Craig, thanks very much for doing that. We did correspond and everything, but those parts are here for me to build a prototype at some point.
And the decals I forgot to send you are on the way.
Okay, that's ideal. Yeah, brilliant. So and that's kind of what's been brilliant about all of this, I think, and all the sort of the community that's built up around this is that we've sort of created this across all of our pages, the Interesting Modeling Co., my page, Drew's page, Mike's business pages and everything. I think we've created a community that's very supportive of each other, and also what I think I've loved most about it is become really inclusive as well, of all skill levels and all interests and all of that.
Yeah.
I think, and that's become quite an important part of it. So, and that support has sort of been there. I think certainly, I mean, throughout the pandemic, all the way through, there's always been that support there, I think, for people, and it's become quite it's become a very nice community sort of spirit. There's very little kind of politics or anything that kind of
I mean, so for
politics
that started out as being sort of an antidote to lockdown has become
kind of stuck around, hasn't it?
Has become something very individual, very, very unique and good. And
I just promise to get a better webcam for next year, though.
That's okay. Drew and I, every year we come back from Telford and we'd be racking our brains of like, what can we do? What can we do to as a joint effort? And this happened. So, I just very, very quickly, I just want to thank friends and family for watching out for me this year. So that's it.
Oh, that was nicely brief.
Well, Drew, we're going to hear about it for the next 15, 20 years.
Yeah, we're going to hear about it for the next 15, 20 years. So, yeah. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, everybody who tuned in tonight, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate it, and appreciate the support for this year, especially given that we had a bit of an interruption during the summer. So thank you for still coming back to watch, 3 middle-aged men or 4 middle-aged men, talk about their toy hobby. Like I say, we'll be doing over Christmas, starting tonight, the Walker Bulldog Challenge. So we'll be wrapping that up 7th of January, wasn't it, Spence?
Yeah, 7th of January. I think because most of us sort of I go back to work technically on the 8th.
Yeah. So see, Mike's on the ball.
Yeah.
So on that note, it just remains for me.
Sorry, John. We don't have any. There are no constraints on this, are there? We just build it. And
I think you said no aftermarket.
No
That's
aftermarket.
I thought that was on your banner. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't care.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. No, is that what it says? No aftermarket.
No aftermarket. 10 days. Just build it, folks. Just build it.
Just build it. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas or whatever you celebrate at this time of year. Thank you for your support this year. It's been an interesting year, as befits the Interesting Modelling Company. Fingers crossed, we'll be back in the new year. So enjoy your holidays. And from myself and these three reprobates, just like to say thank you for your support. And I look forward to seeing some of you over the Christmas holiday as well. So on that note, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and we'll see you in the new year.
Take care, folks and gonks.
Take care.
Bye for now.